Hello, good morning all. Let's continue our chapter reproduction in plants. So far we discussed about the methods of asexual reproduction and also the parts of flower, male and female parts of flower. Okay, next we have to study about pollination and also fertilization. So as we know, the male gamete, what is the name of the male gamete? Pollen grain. And the name of the female gamete, that is a egg or ovum. The process of fusion of this male and female gamete resulting in the structure, formation of a structure called zygote. This is the process called fertilization. So before fertilization, we have to study about the pollination. Pollination means the transfer of pollen grains, that is a male gamete, from the anther to the stigma of a flower. That is the process called pollination. So, generally, this pollination process that's carried out by different agents. Some agents are there helping pollination. They are the wind, water, the insects, etc. So, these pollen grains are usually lightweight, and they can be carried easily by wind or water or insects from one flower to another flower. Okay. So, based on this uh, type of transfer, the pollination can be classified as two. One is a self-pollination and the other one is a cross-pollination. If the pollen or if the male gametes lands on the stigma of the same flower, then it is called self-pollination. But in some cases, the pollen of a flower lands on the stigma of another flower of the same plant or that of the different plant of the same kind. Then we can call it as a cross-pollination. So we can say there are two types of pollination. One is a self-pollination and the other one is a cross-pollination. So after pollination, where we can see the pollen grains? Yes, the pollen grains, they are usually sticking over the stigma. Stigma is somewhat sticky in nature. That this sticky nature of the stigma traps the pollens over there. Okay, the next step is the fertilization. For the process of fertilization, the pollen from the stigma absorbs water and start to germinate. Germinate to form to produce a structure called pollen tube. The pollen tube which may grows towards the ovary. Ovary is situated at the bottom. So towards this ovary the pollen grains may grow. Then ovary, inside the ovary we can see the ovule. Inside the ovule the female gamete called ovum or egg is present. Then the male gamete which may meet or comes down through the pollen tube and meet and fuse with the female gamete. This process of fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization. After fertilization, we will get a single celled structure. That single cell structure is called a zygote. Okay. Then the zygote develops into the embryo. Do you know what is this embryo? Embryo is a small white structure that is present inside in the seed. So after fertilization, the ovary of the flower which will grows into a fruit and other parts of the flower which may fall off. What are the other parts? The sepals and petals which may fall off from the plant and the ovary which will become the fruit. Inside in the ovary, who will be the ovules are there? The ovules which will become the seed. Okay, the seed contains an embryo. Embryo is a zygote develops into that embryo. This is enclosed by a protective seed group. Okay, then how the seeds are dispersing for promoting the germination. Germination results in the formation of new plants. We know that in nature we can see same kinds of plants, they are growing at different places. Not exactly in the same area, but they are growing at different places. For this purpose, the seeds from the plant which may carried away to far away distances by the help of some agents such as water, wind, insects, animals, etc. some of the seeds of or fruits which are carried away by wind. Example, the seeds of those light seeds, the seeds with light weight, the seeds of drumstick, muringakaya, and maple. And another some kinds of grasses, they are usually showing light seeds with hairy outgrowths. These are also carried by the wind, grasses of the sunflower. And also another one is that that is the madar, usually it is known as apoopan tadi. All these are usually flying along with the wind and which will fall down in far away places and allow the seed to germinate there. And some others are carried by water, for example coconut, arecanut, etc., the seeds with hard seed coat. And some others are dispersed by animals such as the spiny seeds with the hooks which may trap over the skin of animals. Then it is carried away to some other places. Example, Sandium, Urena, etc. And some other seeds, they may disperse by the sudden jerking or sudden break with jerks. At that time, the seeds which may scatter to far away places. Example, the seed of castor, balsam plant, kashitumba we are usually calling. Okay, all these are the examples for such kind of dispersal. So that's all about the chapter reproduction in plants. From next class onwards, we will do the exercises and others. Okay.